Welcome to Business Q&A with me, Nontobeko Kumete. Today, we are unpacking a reality that many South Africans know all too well, becoming a December millionaire only to end up financially overstretched by January. Those few days of festive indulgence often lead to months of financial strain, with pressure rising for many households to start at the year. Joining me to unpack how to balance enjoyment with smart money choices is Thabo Hollo, who is the Program Manager for Old Mutual Financial Education. Thabo, thank you very much for joining us once more. Now, the phrase, "don't be a December millionaire, only to be a January beggar," is very relatable and popular. Why is it still relevant in today's society?
It's still relevant in today's society because, funny enough, we have December every year. And December can be very tricky to the best of us because we approach December slightly differently. We're quite emotional, we're euphoric, we're excited around December, and we tend to spend quite a bit in December and expose ourselves, unfortunately, financially, and forget that January is still coming and that those debit orders, they're still coming. The school fees is still there. We still have to take care of the school uniforms. So December, yes, whilst it's there every year, unfortunately, we don't plan quite well. Hence, we are December millionaires and we worry in January.
Just expanding on that euphoria terminology, soft life can be a concept that's romanticized a lot, but for Old Mutual, what does it mean financially?
What it means financially is because we go through quite a bit during the year, and mentally we cannot tell ourselves that, look, we deserve a break, we deserve to spoil ourselves, and we deserve somewhat of a reward. Soft life is around us rewarding ourselves, right? And hence the term that we use, that is soft life. It's us rewarding ourselves for the hard year that we've gone through.
Now, just looking at the statistics of unemployment and just the working culture when looking at Gauteng specifically, pressures, it makes sense why there's such an increase in pressure, but what mindset is needed here to shift or needed to be changed?
Here's the thing, and yes, we do work hard as South Africans, but it is also true that we got to change and shift a little bit in terms of the way we approach our financial lives, particularly in December. And specifically, we're talking about planning ahead of December and knowing fully well that January is still coming. So you need to shift the mindset from euphoric spending, unintentional, unplanned spending, to intentional spending. So you know exactly what you've planned for in terms of your December and what is going to get you through to December into January. And instead of just spend, we also need to be very prudent in the way we manage our finances, particularly in December.
When you're talking about social pressures and expectations, it might seem easy to just say it via mouth that this is what you need to do. But when you're looking at a lot of households where a lot of youth seem to be heading them up, or a lot of women seem to be heading them up as well, when you're looking at expectations, social pressure, what to give into, what to show up for, what would be your perspective on that?
I think the biggest issue around pressure is, in particular, is around being able to draw the boundaries. It's around being able to say no to things that you know that you cannot afford. It's around making sure that everybody know where those boundaries are. What are the things that you can and cannot do? Even yourself. Know what are the things that you can and cannot afford. So yes, there will always be social pressure, but then the pressure needs to be managed by yourself, by saying to yourself, what are the things that I can afford? What are the things that I can put away at the moment and deal with them later in terms of financially? And in that way, then you don't then fall prey to pressure.
Let's look at tangible case studies or examples, for instance. What is the biggest financial mistake that a lot of South Africans find themselves in?
It's trying to match up with everybody else. It's trying to keep up with everybody else. And one of the biggest mistakes that we make is use the money that we don't have to keep up with everybody that most of the time don't even notice that we're trying to keep up with them. But the biggest issue that we do is just around not being able to plan properly for how December looks like from a financial point of view and what January needs to look like from an expenditure point of view.
From Old Mutual's perspective and in your field as well, what are some of the practical tools or steps that you would share with potential clients on how to weather the storm between December and January?
In particular, putting money aside. So you must know that January is coming, right? So instead of spend, try to put at least a little bit of money aside, right? To say, I need to still pour petrol if I have to. I need to pay for my transport if I use public transport. So put money aside to cover those. But also, whenever possible, pay for some of the expenses. You know that you still need to pay for your rent. You know that you still pay for your water and electricity. So start planning around those and pay before you get into the festive euphoria. Try to pay for all of those expenses that you know that you're going to incur in January.
Does that normally help to balance out, your needs and your wants?
It absolutely does. Identify those needs and clean up those needs. You know exactly what those needs are and deal with them first. And those ones, ask yourself, is it something that I absolutely cannot do without? And if that is the case, have I budgeted for it? So if you've saved for it, if you've budgeted for it, then by all means satisfy yourself and deal with those ones. But in terms of the needs, there's things that you cannot do without, and deal with those first.
Now, for those who are watching this segment for the first time, where can they go in order to get your services or a guide on how to weather this storm?
It's very simple. So visit us on Old Mutual on the Money, and that's where you get a whole lot of tips. We have different channels. You can also go on our WhatsApp channel where you can get most tips around how to manage your finances.
Now now that we've reached the end, I think probably the key message here would be implementation. But before we wrap up, can you just share your key message for our audiences moving into 2026?
Moving into 2026, planning is absolutely critical. You know that there will be Easter. You know June is coming. You know there will be Black Friday next year, right? And December will be there. Start planning now. Put aside all the goals that you have for 2026. Assign a budget to them. Put money specifically to the plans that you have. That's the first thing. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself in a sense that you need to save. Save for emergencies, save for your goals. But most importantly, if it was according to me in 2026, let's stay within our lanes. Let's know where those boundaries are, draw up those boundaries clearly, and live within your means.
Well, I guess the biggest key message here is stay within your financial lane. Thabo, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Nonto.
That was the Program Manager for Old Mutual Financial Education, Thabo Hollo. Stay tuned for more business programming after this. Goodbye.